On this video, we're going to demonstrate this Denon personal component system cassette deck. It's a model DRR-M7. It has a drawer loading mechanism on it, which of course makes it unique. Not many cassette decks were made that way, and not many of them were made of this size or shape either. So I'm excited to give you a demonstration of this unit. Let's get started. If you've had a chance to see my video about the Bolex Super 8 projector, you'll note that at the time of this recording, I have like the flu, or at least flu symptoms. So I apologize for the way my voice sounds, but the show must go on. So today we're going to look at this Denon, this auto reverse front loading via a drawer mechanism with Dolby B and C noise reduction. Kind of cool. This is a mini component system. It was part of a stack of components that went together. Now, unlike some of these mini component systems that use proprietary connectors in the back, this one uses real RCA jacks, which is really kind of cool because then you can just take this piece out and use it with something else. But it's got a really funky problem with it, and I was able to kind of bypass the funky problem using these little rubber pieces here that I've got. It's kind of like a rubber grommet that I cut in half. So I'll show you what these do here shortly. But before we get into that, I wanted to show you some of the unique cassettes that I've collected over the years. This first one here, this Rocky Mountain cassette, is one that's on my channel in its entirety. And it was a tour tape designed to guide you through the Rocky Mountain National Park. It features one of my favorite narrators, Peter Thomas. Here is a Philips, an early Philips blank cassette. Philips C60 compact cassette, and it is the Germany tape as it is written on there. But kind of unique to go back in time and look at these. Now the actual tape inside says Admiral on it, but it's still of that same time period. Looks like maybe late 60s, early 70s, potentially there. Next one I have is an early pre-recorded cassette. This is the Clark Terry cassette, and you can see on here it has a copyright date of 1972, and it has this unique little holder that it just snaps inside of there. Kind of cool. I have a Scotch C60 early cassette with the cool dude on the front with the guitar, showing you, hey, I play guitar and I'm going to use my tape recorder to record all of my amazing compositions. So it's a Scotch C60 high energy cassette. And what's inside is actually a C90. But anyway, the cover art's cool on that one. Here is a Scotch Highlander. It's a 60-minute cassette, low noise tape, recommended for general purpose recording. It has a nice blue cartridge. Isn't that neat? Translucent as well. Then we have the Sony. It's a DC90. It's made for dictation machines or even answering machines, but specifically for dictating machines of that time period. So your secretary would be recording or transcribing the recording you made on your dictation machine on that particular cassette. Then we have here a Sony Ferrochrome. So it's a FECR90, which was a very specific, it's a type 3 position normal bias cassette, but very few cassette decks were made, at least they're mostly uncommon, machines that had ferrochrome setting on them. Okay, so there you go, ferrochrome cassette. Ran across that recently. Then we have this Norelco music cassette. So once Philips, who invented this cassette format, decided, hey, we're going to put music on these things, they released a demonstration tape to show you that, hey, music sounds pretty good on cassette. So this is on my channel as well, featured on one of my videos. Let's see, I'm going to skip these two for now. We have this Memorex. I mean, is it live or is it Memorex, right? I mean, this was like a big deal for a long time. Memorex was the bomb for a long time. And unique design of the cassette shell there. And kind of like a head cleaner type leader on there, which is kind of neat. But yeah, Memorex, they were an industry leader for a long time. Now they're just a name that cheap Chinese products put their name on. Here's an XL2S 90-minute cassette that has this beautiful golden type of label on it there, just to show you how fancy it is, right? All it does is exclaim elegance and beauty. And let's see, we've got this Scotch low noise C60 cassette with this hot chick on the front. And she's very, very drawn into the music that she's listening to on this low noise, high density posi track backing cassette. Gives you 30 minutes per side of recording, and that's not the actual cassette that came with it. But again, I like the cover art. All right, and my favorite of all time blank cassettes is the XL2 from Maxell. These are very easy to find at your local thrift store or online, and they're awesome. They're just an all-around, well-built, well-made cassette with very, very high-quality chrome tape inside. Okay, so highly recommend those for you. And then at one time before, you know, back in the day, before we had downloads, we could just download the song we wanted. There was this little unique format known as the cassette single. So here's 3 examples of a cassette single. So each one of these cassettes has just one song, and possibly 2, depending upon whether or not they wanted to throw an extra song on there. But I've got MC Hammer, Here Comes the Hammer. And not very much tape on the inside because it's a, well, this one's kind of full actually. Let's look at this one. Ace of Base, All That She Wants. Yeah, baby. Let's see what this cassette looks like. Yeah, you can see it has very little tape on the inside just to take care of those 2 songs. I think it does have a flip side as well. It has the single edit and then the Bangra version on the other side, whatever that is. And then last we have Michael Jackson's Jam, and on Columbia Records and Tapes, also known as Epic. And again, not very much tape inside because there's just one song. This one has Rock With You Masters at Work Remix on the flip side. Okay, so just a quick demo of some cassettes, because cassettes were once the king, especially for those of us that didn't have a ton of money and couldn't afford compact disc players. So let's get into this tape deck. All right, I have the tape deck propped up on a cassette shell here for best viewing. Controls are over here on the side. You have a left play and right play, so you can forward and reverse play there. Stop, rewind, fast forward. You have a CD-SRS, which I believe is a synchronization function. So it would synchronize the beginning of the playback of the CD along with recording on the cassette, so you can make your own mixtapes. And of course a record button there. Our indicators across the front here are play left and right, or side A, side B, record indicator, CD-SRS, and a standby light there. We have our Dolby noise reduction on a physical switch of B and C. We have reverse modes here, so one side plays and then it stops, or we play both sides and then stop, or we just continuously play both sides. We have our on standby button and an open and close button. Instead of eject, open and close for the drawer that's on the front. So let's see what that drawer looks like. So very much like a compact disc player, a CD-ROM drive on your computer, or a Laserdisc player, this unit has a drawer loading mechanism on it. So you can put the cassette in a drawer and play the tape, drop that cassette in there, this Celebrity Answering Machine tape, pop that in there, close it up, and you're ready to play. Now what does that look like on the inside? Well, it's pretty cool actually. Let's take a look. I've removed the top cover for best viewing. Now let's go ahead and close the drawer, and you'll see it pop right into place there. Here is the 2 pinch rollers, and the pinch rollers are actually the problem with this unit. And again, I'll show you momentarily what those little rubber gaskets are going to do. But there's some kind of design flaw with this machine, and I have not been able to figure it out. Strangely enough, I used to repair cassette decks professionally. I used to repair telex talking book machines for the Library of Congress reading book program for the blind and physically handicapped. So I have a pretty good idea of how to fix a tape deck. That doesn't make me like a genius, but that experience did help me a lot in understanding the way cassette decks are made and how they're supposed to work. But in this case, what happens is you hit play or reverse, and the tape just takes off going crazy because the pinch rollers are not moving into place like they should. Okay, so as far as the way it's designed, again, here is your record and playback head, which flips over to play both sides. So to play side 1, the tape moves in this direction, and then to play side 2, the head flips to get the other tracks on side B, and the tape is supposed to turn in this direction. We have a drive motor over here. We have our circuitry, both here on this board here, and then on the side on this circuit board here. We have our power supply section back here, as well as a transformer. There's also a little motor right there, and that little motor works to do the loading and closing of the tray and so forth. All right, so what is wrong with this silly thing? Well, I'm going to hook up a speaker so you can kind of hear it, but it's a really strange problem. On the back of the player here, you'll see your RCA inputs and outputs. So your in are on top here, your outs are on the bottom. And over here you've got a system connector jack, and this would connect your components together so that you could use a universal remote, or probably the one that came with the system, to control all the functionality of all the different components, i.e. the CD player, the receiver, and the cassette deck in this case. Over here we have an unswitched outlet, so we can plug something else into it, power one of the other components through it, so kind of daisy chain them together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a connector like this. So I've got my 3.5 millimeter connector on this end, and I've got my RCAs on this side, and I'll be using this Autumn USB speaker, actually Bluetooth speaker, which has a 3.5 millimeter input on it to demonstrate the audio. So what I do is I hook the white and the red right there, and then plug this right into the back of my speaker, and then I am ready to jam. Or am I ready to jam? I even have the tape that says jam on it, but actually I'm not ready to jam. We got to find out why. So the unique feature of this cassette deck is its ability to make any cassette tape sound like a Chipmunks tape. So I'm going to go ahead and hit play on the front, and the first thing you'll notice is that the tape is moving at a ridiculously high rate of speed. Okay, so obviously this is not a desired feature. This is not something you want to happen, okay? So again, watch this little pinch roller right here. It should be going in and meeting the capstan, but it's not. Okay, same thing on this side. It doesn't do it. So let's hit play again so you can see that. Now watch what happens when I push this capstan in.
Please remember to turn me off, and keep me turned off till you resume driving along the tour path.
Isn't that interesting? So the same thing on the reverse side play. Even worse. I can hold it in. And of course it works great. Now you would think that there was a spring problem, like there's some springs that need to be replaced. Well, there's a spring inside here, but the spring actually keeps the pinch rollers away from the cassette shell once you hit eject, or stop in this case, because you don't want them to block the tape from being ejected. See there? So obviously I could pry those in, you know, and hold them both in like that, but then when I hit eject, it's going to get stuck, as you can see there. So here's what I found works as a remedy, and I tried all kinds of stuff. I tried putting springs in here, I tried everything under the sun, and nothing worked better than just putting this little ring inside here and just placing it around that post right there. So just place that in there like that, and watch what happens when I hit play.
Ceramic scene or animal catches your fancy. Please remember to turn me off.
Well, it's not working perfectly, is it? Maybe I got it in there wrong. Let's try it upside down.
and keep me turned off.
There we
until
go.
you
That's
resume
better.
driving along the tour path. In this way, you'll be sure that what your ears are hearing corresponds to what your eyes are seeing. At this
So
time,
strangely
we
enough,
are headed for...
I can't put two of those in there. I mean, I can physically put two of them in there, but then they interfere with each other. So if I keep two of them in there, watch what happens when I hit play this time. It just jams.
Number 1.
Well, at least in one direction it jams,
Where we'll start our tour.
but the other side doesn't want to play.
Incidentally,
So if I take this one out, leave the other one in, and hit play, it works fine. So a very, very strange issue that I have been puzzled with and really got tired of trying to figure out what it was. So if any of you guys out there have worked on one of these decks and you know what the solution is, hey, drop me a note and I could be having the time of my life playing cassettes again.
corresponds to what your eyes are seeing. At this time, we are headed for sign number 1, Deer Ridge Junction, where we'll start our tour. Incidentally, on this tour, there are 10 viewpoints or stops recommended. Each is marked along the road by numeral signs.
So as you can see, it plays back very well. And again, it has Dolby B and C noise reduction. So potentially, this could be a really fine tape deck to have in a tight location, like in the kitchen or down on your workbench or somewhere like that. Or even just on a bookshelf or some tight space in a bedroom. So anyway, that's the confusing thing about this tape deck, and interestingly as well. So once again, a really groovy feature, but something happened. I found this at a thrift store, and there was also the CD player there, but I decided not to get the CD player, just getting the cassette player, part of it. But there's just something really cool about dropping in a cassette like that and hitting the open close button and hitting your play button there and enjoying a cassette.
Some historical and general information about this world famous part? Okay, we'll start at the beginning.
All right, well guys, that's about it for this video demonstration. This Denon, it's again a DRR-M7 auto reverse cassette deck. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Tell your friends that this was the coolest video you've ever seen in your entire life, and share this video everywhere on the internet and make it go viral. That's all I can tell you to do, guys. And if you do that, I will be utmost appreciative of that. Can you tell I'm losing, I'm running out of words. Okay, I'm losing it. I'm just losing it, guys. All right, please subscribe, share with a friend, leave a comment below, and follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/1. Don't forget that numeral 1 in there, the numeral 1 and databits. Okay.